below the Bills? What the funk?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. This is Dusty. Dusty was in a mood today.
Yeah.
Did Dusty give you your bar?
He did not.
He gave me my bar, and I liked
Dusty,
it.
am I supposed to swear on that? Ramsey, can we correct mine?
I don't
Put
even
some, like,
swear.
little
What the
verse
fuck?
in mind.
Yeah.
But Nick, look, what are we doing? The Eagle, you're supposed to be an Eagles guy.
I'm an Eagles.
They should be on the same tier as the Bills. I could argue, in fact, I have argued they should actually be ahead of the Bills, but I'm gonna give you a little grace and just put them on the same tier as the Bills. Let me count
And
the
have
ways.
fun converted empty? That doesn't make sense.
You just wanted a
Yeah,
title
go ahead.
there.
Yeah.
They are on a 10-game win streak, longest in the league. 4 of their last 5 victories have come against teams that would be in the playoffs should they start right now. All right? The Bills just lost a week ago to an 8-6 LA Rams team that's just getting it together. The Bills have given up 43 points a game in the last 2 games. Eagles haven't given up 30
That's a good point.
since week 4. Well, that was their last loss, by the way. The Eagles have probably, or certainly arguably, the best defense in the league. They got the best running back in the league, certainly arguably. They've got arguably the best receiving core, at least the 2 receivers in the league, and a quarterback who is not as good as Josh Allen. That's the only advantage for the Bills.
It's pretty
but
big
a quarterback who has been to the Super Bowl and has played well in that Super Bowl. So I just don't see how in the world
Played well.
the Bills should be ahead of the Eagles.
The committee thinks they're better. The records are close enough that it's what?
Yeah, Philly's got better records.
Yeah, no, but when the records are 1 game apart, then I think it's fair to have a more discerning touch to it. And I think Buffalo is better than Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is the best team in the NFC right now. I agree. I don't even know if I want to say I agree with you on that because I don't know if you think they're the best team in the NFC, but you think they should be the highest ranked team. Yeah, in the NFC. But I think the 2 best teams, and the committee agrees with me, in football by a decent amount are the Chiefs and the Bills. Now that Detroit was there, but Detroit's defensive injuries have removed them, in our eyes, from the conversation. So
That doesn't make any sense.
what?
I'm moving the Lions up.
Let's go.
All right, well, here, we're talking about the Eagles. Listen. By a decent amount, that the Bills and the Chiefs are better than the Eagles by a decent amount. When the Eagles have had a top offense in the NFL, top defense in the NFL, they have better running backs, better wide receivers, better O-line. I mean, under what stretch of the imagination? Tell me. Tell me how are the Chiefs better than the Eagles? Tell me how the Bills are better than the Eagles. I'm all for putting them all in the same tier and putting them in the same level. But ranking them below? Tell me why. Tell me why. Oh, well, we doubt the Eagles because why? Well, they've never. Yeah, they did. They've been in the playoffs since 21, 22, 23. They went to the Super Bowl in 22. They were beating the Kansas City Chiefs in said Super Bowl. Went down to the wire. They've clearly earned that right. They've clearly earned their respect. Jalen Hurts played, what did he say, pretty well or pretty good in that Super Bowl? I've already went through that. It was one of the greatest Super Bowl performances of a quarterback of all time. Again, not up for debate. It's a literal fact. It's not my opinion. It's a literal fact. So we know what the Eagles are capable of doing. We know what AJ can do. We know what Devontae can do. Dallas Goedert's injured right now, but he'll be back. We know what Dallas Goedert can do. We know what Hurts can do. We see Kellen Moore calling a gem of a game, coming up with beautiful game plans. He certainly dealt with the whole A.J. Brown better than Shanahan dealt with Debo. Also not up for debate. Fangio's got that defense rolling, dominant, physical, suffocating. So how are these other teams considerably better again, like I always say, if you want to make the argument that you believe that the Kansas City Chiefs would beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl or whatever, I'm fine with that. I can 100% get behind that, and I could even craft my own version of the arguments as to why that would be the case. Well, because of Andy Reid and, Patrick Mahomes, and we could do that. But just to say that that team's better based off of what? I'm waiting. Tell me. The quarterback. Okay. Sure. The quarterback that hasn't been playing very well this year? I don't understand. And again, right, Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts, which makes some Philadelphia Eagles fans not so happy. But I do think Josh Allen is a better quarterback. And I don't think, and that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not being like the Philadelphia Eagles are head and shoulders better than the Chiefs or the Bills. I'm not making that statement either. I think it would be a fascinating game to see the Eagles go up against the Bills or the Chiefs for that matter. I'd love to see what the Eagles do defensively against Mahomes and that offense. I'd love to see what Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts do against the Chiefs defense. And the Bills defense is a question mark. I've kind of talked about that in a previous video. I think some of their defensive issues are maybe technically slightly misleading, but we know that their defense isn't this top defense. And I think Josh Allen would still get his even against a top defense because Josh Allen is that dude. So I think the way how these teams match up are fascinating to me. So to have such confidence that these teams are considerably better makes sense. And then he originally said that the Lions were there until they got injured. Well, the Lions were there, but then you picked the Eagles to win. Why then? Just doesn't really make sense, honestly. Seriously. And then when he was saying, oh, well, the Bills are there, because it's only a one game, separating them. And so, we can have some nuance there. And it's oh, that's rich. That's real rich. I don't know, man. The Eagles have won some really big games, and they've won them quite convincingly. And not in ways where they just pile on points. That is where a point differential can sometimes be misleading. Because sometimes when you do pile on points and people think oh, they beat this team by 21 points, that means they're 21 points better than the other team. But that's why you just got to really watch the game and see how these things unfold. Watch what the Eagles defense did to Lamar Jackson, the top offense in the NFL. You see how it was so muddied and how the offense couldn't do what they wanted to do. You saw how the Eagles took care of Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Matthew Stafford. You saw that. You saw them stifle the Pittsburgh Steelers. You saw them disrupt Jaden Daniels' flow and rhythm. I mean, we've seen that week after week after week. They were the first team to finally put a stop against the Saints. The Saints started off real hot, and then the Saints ended up getting all their injuries. Carr went down and company. But before that, they were ready to go. And the Saints were rolling. And the Eagles were like, nope. So the Eagles have a lot of those games where they've really disrupted teams offensively and defensively. That's why, if anything, you can make the argument that they're the most complete team. I mean, they have to have the highest offense and the highest defense combination. Because we know the Chiefs' offense is not that great, but their defense is significantly better. We know the Bills' offense is really great, but their defense isn't so much there. We know that for the Rams. We know that for the Lions. The Vikings and the Packers are a little bit more TBD. But we know that those are definitely more offensively driven teams. The Eagles got both. Again, it can't be argued against. It's not an opinion. Let's just look at PFF's overall rankings in terms of when they do all their advanced analytics and combine them all together. You got the Eagles at 92.6, just 0.3 below the Lions. And we know the Lions will most likely drop because of their injuries. And then we got to go all the way down to 87 to 8 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Then we got to go all the way down to 15th to 81.5 for the Buffalo Bills. That's a real thing. That is a real thing. And again, we're not living and dying by these stats here, but they're still worth looking at. Then we got the defense, 80. And their offense, 7th. So we know what they have. We know what they've been able to accomplish. We see their record. Like, that's what I'm saying. You kind of combine it all together. You watch and see how these games unfold. Then you look to see what the stats say afterwards. And see if they kind of continue to tell that story. And if there's any inconsistencies, then you kind of try to figure out why. But the Eagles don't have that. So you can say that these other teams are considerably better than the Philadelphia Eagles, and that's just not based off of the reality of at all. Like, it's not actually like, again, you have to tell me, what is that actually based off of? It's not based off anything. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you think they should be above the Bills? Do you think that they should be kind of in the same tier as the Bills and the Chiefs? Do you think the Bills and the Chiefs are considerably better than the Eagles? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.